Awesome. So today we are in Proverbs chapter 5. And by the time we're done with today's session, you'll come to realize that hidden in this chapter is probably the most dangerous weapon that the enemy uses against us today. We're going to be exposing the enemy today. In this chapter, Solomon introduces us to a personality that he calls the strange woman. Other translations call her the immoral woman. Why? Who is she? Why is he warning his son not to even go near her door? He doesn't say don't go near her house. He's like, don't even go near her door. And by the time we break down who this woman is, what she does, and how she operates, you will begin to understand the reasons behind why every marriage fails, why people suddenly go broke, and the trick that the enemy uses to draw people out of God's presence so that he can strike them. I'll be showing you in today's teaching how I was able to study this chapter to unlock the 3 dimensions of the word. You know, that's what we do here. I teach you how to study the Bible in 3D. The first dimension is the knowledge dimension, and we unlock that dimension through reverence for God. When you spend quality time with God every day without distractions, because when you reverence his presence, you cannot have distractions around you. You are so focused on him that every other thing pales in comparison. When you are able to wake up early, sacrifice sleep because you want to spend time with him. When you're able to spend quality time in his presence, not rushing, but listening, pondering over the same verses over and over and over again until light comes. Because the Bible says that the entrance of your word brings light and gives understanding to our simple minds. So it means that you haven't encountered the word, you haven't interacted with the word until light comes. You also need to be able to ask questions, because questions are the keys that open doors in the spirit realm. It says the entrance of your word. To enter, you need to unlock a door. The entrance of your word. We need questions to unlock the doors. And so when I started studying this chapter, I had a question that I couldn't move past, because we've been studying the book of Proverbs now for the past 5 weeks, and I began to notice a pattern. It felt like Solomon was repeating himself a lot. And it was weird to me, because I'm like, why does he keep saying the same thing over and over and over again if this is supposed to be a letter to his son? Now, we know that as the wisest king to ever live, about 3,000 proverbs had been ascribed to him, 3,000 wisdom nuggets based on his experiential interaction with life. You know, God had gifted him with the wisdom, with the ability to discern right and wrong and see patterns in life that can be leveraged as principle, that if everybody used this, they'll be guaranteed the results. And so in the book of Proverbs, out of the 3,000 proverbs that have been ascribed to him, he shares 375 of them. It's like he's cherry picking the ones that he's going to share with his son and his children. But before he does that, like I mentioned, Proverbs 1 to 9 seems like an introduction. And then from chapter 10, we then begin to see the proverbs that Solomon actually produced. But before we get there, he is personally addressing his son and his children, as we saw last week, for the first 9 chapters. But like I said earlier, I found something that was concerning. Why is Solomon repeating himself a lot? Let me show you what I mean. In Proverbs 1, we see in verse 8, my son, hear the instruction of your father. Okay. Like, I want you to put yourself in the shoes like you're writing your son. Like, how many times would you say my son if you're writing to your son? But it's like, hear the instruction of your father and do not forsake the law of your mother. It's like he keeps on telling his son, make sure you hear and make sure you don't forget. It's like, was your son a forgetful person that you had to do it every single chapter? In chapter 2, my son, if you receive my words and treasure my commands within you, so that you incline your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. In other words, hear and keep my words. When we get to chapter 3, similar thing, my son, do not forget my law. It's like, you just told me that. But let your heart keep my commands, for length of days and long life and peace will be added to you. Even in verse 10, verse 11, so my son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor detest his correction. It's like same thing over and over again. And then we get to chapter 4, it's like, hear my children, the instruction of your father. Give attention to no understanding. Do not forsake my law. And then in chapter 5, I'm like, this was what triggered it for me. Chapter 5, my son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding that you may preserve discretion. I'm like, Solomon, you already told him this in chapter 1. Why is it that you're repeating yourself? How distracted was this prince? Then it dawned on me that is it possible that chapter 1 to 9 isn't one letter to his son, but a series of letters that he had written to his son. That would make more sense because the book of Proverbs was a compilation. It wasn't like your regular letter or book in the Bible like Matthew, where he's writing it as one flow of thought. Proverbs is a compilation. So is it possible that Solomon had been writing several letters to his son and to his children that were later compiled into this book? Like I said, that would make more sense. And so it means that each chapter must have had its own unique motivation for writing it. Solomon would have had a unique motivation for writing each chapter that we're reading. And so my question when I got here was, what inspired Solomon to write this particular letter? What could he have experienced? What could he have seen, heard? Because for Solomon to document it, he must have witnessed something. And what he must have witnessed couldn't have been an isolated incident. Because Solomon was a wise man. As a wise person, you will not see one experience and document or jump to a conclusion based on just that one experience. This particular experience repeating itself over time, that it had become a pattern, and now he's like, this has happened so much and so often that it has now become a pattern and it now needs to be documented. I've seen it occur over and over again, and now he has decided to put pen to paper to warn his son, the future king of Israel. And why was he doing this? We're always going to go back to 1 Kings chapter 4, because I believe this is 1 Kings chapter 2 verse 4. I believe this is very critical. In 1 Kings 2:4, David, in the final moments of his life, calls Solomon and gives him a charge. He's revealing to Solomon that he and God had an agreement. God had offered David a conditional offer. David is telling him, he says, do this. Let me read from verse 2. I'm about to go the way of the earth, he said. So be strong, act like a man, and observe what the Lord your God requires. Walk in obedience to him and keep his decrees and commands, his laws and regulations, and that the Lord may keep his promise to me if your descendants watch how they live, and if they walk faithfully before me with all their heart and soul, you will never fail to have a successor on the throne of Israel. So David was communicating to Solomon that I have a conditional offer with God. And that offer, in order for that offer to be renewed, whoever is on the throne has to remain faithful to him. Whoever is on the throne needs to obey his laws and his commands. And so Solomon, as he's getting older and is having children, and at this point, I believe he has identified the one who is going to succeed him. He's trying to ensure that he is preparing him, the different things that could enable the subscription not to be renewed. Think of a Netflix subscription. It's like, I need you to have enough money in the account so that when they are going to withdraw, you don't get cut off. And so in Proverbs 5, Solomon introduces his son to a personality that he had seen destroy people time and time again. And he's writing this letter to his son to show him what the end of the road looks like for those who have come in contact with this woman, for those who have gone the way of this woman, so that his son doesn't need to learn this tough lesson from personal experience. You know, one thing I've come to realize is that intelligence is the ability to learn from your mistakes, but wisdom is the ability to learn from the mistakes of others. Solomon is trying to tell his son that, look, let me show you the end from the beginning so that you don't have to go and test the waters yourself. You don't need to experiment. Let me show you what this woman has done to many men before you so that you can learn from them and not have to go through it yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this clip and you'd like to watch the entire Bible study session, make sure you click this link here. And if you've been blessed by this channel in any way you feel led to support, please consider clicking the link below. And for any amount you give, you get a free Bible study masterclass where I teach you how to unlock the 3 dimensions of the word. Literally, I'm going to be teaching you how to study the Bible in 3D. If you also feel led to support us on a monthly basis, consider becoming a member of the YouTube channel where you get some exclusive perks as well, like becoming a part of our monthly book club. Thanks again for watching, and God bless you. See you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.